Dear students, back to our programming in C. So, we were learning about the decision making and branching statements in C. In this session, we are going to learn about a conditional operator and a non-conditional branching statement. So, let's begin with our conditional operator. This is perhaps an unusual operator. It is usually used for making two-way decisions. It is a combination of a question mark and a colon. This operator takes three operands. So, this can also be said as a ternary operator as it takes three operands for evaluation. This operator is popularly known as conditional operator. See the general form of using the conditional operator. Conditional expression question mark. It is followed by the expression 1 colon expression 2. At first the conditional expression will be evaluated. So first conditional expression will be evaluated. After evaluating this condition, if the condition becomes non-zero, the expression 1 will be considered. Or if it is a 0, then expression 2 will be considered. So the conditional expression is evaluated first. If the result is non-zero, expression 1 is evaluated and is returned as the value of the conditional expression. And if the condition becomes false, then expression 2 is evaluated and its value is returned as the value of the conditional expression. So after evaluating, checking for this condition, based on the result of this condition, the conditional expression can have the value of either expression 1 or expression 2. The same can be done using an if-else statement. For example, consider this part of program. If x less than 0, flag equal to 0. As we learned, after checking for a condition using an if statement, if that condition is found to be true, the statement immediately following the if statement, that is the statement given in the if block, will be executed. If the condition found to be false, then the else part of the if statement will be executed. In this case, if we check for the condition x less than 0. If x is less than 0, flag will be set to the value 0, and if x is not less than 0, that means if this condition becomes false, the else part of the program, that is flag, will be set to 1. Flag equal to 1 will be executed. Okay, so a flag will be set to the value 1. The same part of coding can be rewritten using a ternary operator, conditional operator, flag equal to x less than 0. So x less than 0 is our conditional expression. At first, this conditional expression will be evaluated. X less than 0 will be checked. If x is less than 0, that means if this condition is true, flag will be equal to 0. Or if this condition becomes false, then flag will be set to the value 1. This is what we perform using the if-else statement. The same is done with the conditional operator, but the lines of code can be reduced by making use of this conditional operator. See an example. In this we can compare the usage of both if, else and the conditional operator. See, this is not a complete program. It is just a part of program. Inside the void main, see in the first statement we declare three variables a, b, c of type integer. So we specify int as the data type, and then a equal to 10. We have assigned the value 10 to the variable a, b equal to 20, and also we declare another variable c. Both a, b and c belongs to the variable type integer. So it can be declared in a single statement by separating with commas. Then check for the condition if a less than b. We have given the value of a as 10 and value of b as 20. Here we check a less than b. If a is less than b, then the statement immediately following the if statement, that is the statement given inside the if block, will be executed. Here it is given as c equal to a. So a is less than b, the condition is true. So c will be assigned a value 10. Now c equal to 10, and this else part will not be executed, because as a equal to 10 and b equal to 20, a less than b condition is true, the else part of this program will not be executed, and the control of execution will be transferred to the statement printf %d comma c. As we know, %d is used to specify that c is an integer variable and the value going to be printed is a integer value. So %d comma c, that means we get an output 10, c equal to 10. The same can be done with conditional operator. By making of the use of a conditional operator, these lines of code can be reduced. It can be as simple with the use of ternary operator. See, the same thing we are declaring here, declaring the integer variables a, b and c with the same values, a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. In the next statement, we make use of the conditional operator instead of providing an if-else statement. C equal to, we have to get the value as c. So c equal to a less than b. Here this is a less than b is our conditional expression. So first, when this line is executed, it first checks for the conditional expression. The conditional expression will be evaluated first, and based on the result of this conditional expression, if a less than b is true, then c will be equal to a, that is c will be equal to 10. Or if the value, if a less than b becomes false, c will have the value b. Here a is 10 and b is 20, so a less than b condition becomes true, so c equal to a, that means the value of c is 10. That is what we get as the output. Output is 10. Okay. Now we have learned multi-way decision making statements, or switch statement, or the two-way decision making statement, that is our conditional operator. Now it will be useful to have some guidelines that would help to improve the readability and facilitate the maintenance of the programs. The over usage of any multi-way decision statements or any branching statements will reduce the readability of the program. So these guidelines will be useful to make the program more readable, and it facilitates the maintenance of the program. The first one is avoid compound negative statements. So wherever possible, make use of the positive statements. Compound negative statements may make the program more complex. And keep logical expressions as simple. We can achieve this using nested if statements if necessary. Keep the coding simple and short. Try to code the normal conditions first and use proper indentation as per the rules of indentation. use the most portable condition first, and this will eliminate unnecessary tests. So this improves the efficiency of the program. Make use of default class in switch statements. And if one or more case labels have the similar actions, group the case labels. Then the next one is the goto statement. So far we are learning about conditional branching statements or decision making based upon multiple conditions or multi-way decision making statements. Now the next one we are going to learn is the goto statement. Goto is a completely unconditional branching statement. It does not check for any condition. It is an unconditional branching statement. It may be useful in some programs to make use of the unconditional branching statement to repeat a particular part of a program. The goto requires a label in order to identify the place where the branch is to be made. A label is any valid variable name and must be followed by a colon. The label is placed immediately before the statement where the control is to be transferred. See the general form of using the goto statement. Here we specify goto label, and we have given the label elsewhere in the program, and this means the statement given after the label will be executed. All other statements given in between the goto label and the label colon, these statements will be skipped. So this alters the flow of execution. The goto statement breaks the normal sequential execution of the program, and the control of execution will be transferred to the part where specified, the part of the program where it is specified using the label. Label can be any valid variable name, but it must be followed by a colon. The goto statements can be either a forward jump or a backward jump. That means if the label is placed before the statement goto label, a loop will be formed and some statements will be executed repeatedly. Such a jump is known as the backward jump. If the label is placed after the goto label, some of the statements will be skipped, and this type of jump is known as the forward jump. So in any case, the label can be anywhere in the program, either before or after the goto label statement. During running of a program, when a statement like goto begin is said to be a label here, any variable name can be used as a label. Here we use the word begin as a label. So when we execute a program and when this statement is being executed, the flow of control jump immediately to the part where this label is given. That means it jumps immediately following the label begin. Okay, so it breaks the normal sequential execution of the program, and the statements given in between these statements label and the goto will not be executed. These pair of statements will be skipped, and the statement immediately following the label will be executed. The goto label can be either used as a for a forward jump, or it could be used for backward jump, either to execute a block of statements repeatedly or to skip a block of statements. In goto is often used at the end of a program to direct the control to go to the input statement or to read further data, etc. Say a program. In this program, we make use of the goto label statements. It's not a full program, it's a part of program. Within the main function, we declare the variables num and I as integer variables, and we assign 1 as the value to the variable I equal to 1. We initiate the I value as 1, and we use another variable num. It is also an integer variable. At first we display the message enter the number. So when we execute this program, this message will be displayed on the screen, enter the number, and it accepts the value from the user using the statement scanf. Scanf, as we have learned earlier, scanf is used to accept the input from the keyboard. When this message enter the number is displayed on the screen, the user will type a value through the keyboard. For example, if the user input is 10, the value 10 will be accepted as the value of the variable num. So scanf %d %num, this is used to accept the value given by the user through the keyboard as the value of this variable. %d is used to indicate that the value is an integer 1. So see the output. If the value given by the user is 10, then num will be assigned the value 10. Now the value of num is 10 and the value of I is 1. Here we have given a label. In this, our label is a variable table. The name given to our label is table. Table is the label given in this. Now the next statement will be executed. Printf %d into mark, then %d. So when this statement is executed, we will get the value that is given as the value of num. We have given the value of num as 10. So as output we will get the output as 10 into the next value to be displayed is the value of I. I has the value 1. So our display will be 10 into I equal to is also given within the double quotes. So equal to will also be printed as such. So first %d specifies the value of num, that is 10 into the second %d specifies the value of I, that is equal to 1. So 10 into 1 equal to, then the next %d specifies the value of num into I. The product of num into I, that is the product of 10 and 1, that is 10 into 1 equal to 10. That will be displayed as the first output. 10 into 1 equal to 10. Then the next statement is I++. It is an unary operator. Plus is an increment operator. It is used as an unary operator. That means it takes only one operand. So I value will be incremented with 1. I++ means I equal to I plus 1. So with this, I value will be incremented with 1, that is I is equal to 2. Now I is equal to 2. Then we use a conditional statement, if statement, to check whether I less than 10. Now our I value is equal to 2. I equal to 2, that means I is less than or equal to 10. The condition is true. If this condition is true, the next statement will be executed, that is go to table. Table is the label given at the at this point of the program. So from here the control of execution transfers to the label, that is table, given in this part of the program. So the statement immediately following this label will be executed next. So here we have given the message printf %d into %d equal to %d. That means again the same value, that is the value of num, that is 10 into I value is 2, because I value is incremented here. So I value equal to 2. So 10 into 2 equal to num into I, that is 10 into 2, that is 20. The value will be displayed. Again I will be incremented with 1. So now I value is 3. I equal to 3. Then it again checks I less than or equal to 10. The condition is true. Again go to table. The control will be transferred to this label, and the statement immediately following the label will be executed. So again printf %d into %d, that means 10 into 3 equal to 30 will be displayed. Again I plus plus, that means I value will be incremented with 1. Again I becomes 4. Num equal to 10 and I equal to 4. Again it checks whether I less than or equal to 10. The condition is true, and then again go to table. Again the same set of statements will be executed until the value of I becomes greater than 10. Okay, when this condition becomes false, I less than or equal to 10 condition becomes false, that means when I becomes 11, the whole program will be terminated, because we had not given any statement outside this loop, outside this function, this block. So when I is equal to 11, that condition will met, the program, the execution of the program will be terminated. So this lines will be executed repeatedly until I value becomes 11, so that we get the table of 10. 10 into 10 equal to 100. Up to this 10 into 10 equal to 100. The codings will be executed repeatedly using the go to label statement. Hope this is clear to you. We shall continue with the next section. Thank you.